Welcome to Witchy Wednesday, where we remember the rituals our ancestors practiced long before spirituality became a trend. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. It is Witchy Wednesday, and I gotta tell you, I am loving this series. So here on Witchy Wednesday, what we try to do is we try to go back to the old traditions, use the materials and practice the rituals that our ancestors would have done centuries ago. And yeah, so that's what this series is about. And I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this series. Helps me feel connected, helps me feel grounded, and it teaches me a lot about everyday items that we have in the house and what our ancestors believed about them and why they used them. So, today we are going to be looking at creating a money oil that we can use in ritual. All right, so money rituals aren't new. And they didn't start on TikTok, and they didn't start with manifestation trends. They started with our ancestors. People who didn't have access to systems, so they learned how to work with energy, intention, in the natural world to create sustainability. So today, we are going to come back to that. So this isn't about just calling money in. Because if your nervous system doesn't feel safe with money, it doesn't matter how many affirmations you say. Your body will still block it. So what we're doing here is different. We are combining ancestral practice, intentional energy work, and nervous system safety. So you're not just attracting money, you're becoming someone who can actually receive it and hold it. Okay, so why did our ancestors do this? Our ancestors, back in the day, they didn't have banks, they didn't have financial advisors, and they didn't have passive income stream. What they did have was land, plants, and their relationship with energy. And they understood something that we're just starting to remember again. Everything carries energy. So they would infuse oil with herbs. They would create jars with coins and plants. They would create money altars, which I've done before, or they also did a lot of speaking intention into what they were making. And not because it was magic in a fantasy kind of way, but because it created focus, consistency, belief, and a sense of control in uncertain times. And here is the part I love. These rituals weren't just about money. They were about safety and stability and having enough. Which, if we're being honest, is still what we're all looking for. All right, you don't need anything fancy for this, okay? You simply need a jar or a container, and listen, we're just using this little plastic Rubbermaid jar container. That's what I'm using. That's what I got. So you're going to need some kind of a jar. You're going to need some kind of oil. And the herbs that I will be using today is rosemary, which is for clarity and grounding choices. Cinnamon, which is for attraction and movement. Bay leaf, which is for manifestation. And peppercorns for activation. And also garlic for protection and clearing blocks. I always like to light a candle when I'm doing rituals. This is just a way to invite source and any beings of the light that wish to work alongside us while we're doing intentions and rituals to be here. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and add oil to our jar. Any oil you have will do. I better put the lid on that in case I knock it over. All right, now we're going to add some rosemary. So remember, rosemary was for clarity and for grounded choices. So as you are adding a little rosemary to your oil, you are just going to think that this rosemary will help add clarity and grounding and helping me make grounded choices, clarity and grounded choices. Next, we are going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon is for attraction and movement. A lot of people use cinnamon. They blow cinnamon into their homes on the first of the month. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to, love the smell of cinnamon. All right. This is for attraction and movement. We're going to add a bay leaf for manifestation. So bay leaves help with manifestation. Go ahead and set that in there. Okay. Now we're going to add, so you can either use pepper or I have peppercorns today. I'm going to just add 2 peppercorns. Pepper is for activation. Just gonna add a couple peppercorns in there. And finally, garlic. And garlic is for protection and for clearing blocks. So I know for me that is an addition that I need, because I do know that I have been working on clearing money blocks for the last few months. So there we go. And then you're just going to close your lid of your jar. Now we're going to go ahead and set the intention to infuse the oil. So all you're going to do is you're going to hold the jar in your hand. And now, instead of thinking about what you don't have, I want you to focus on what financial safety would feel like. So maybe that's money coming in and your body not panicking. Maybe that's your bills are paid and so your shoulders are relaxed. Or you don't have to worry about checking the mail because you know even if there's an unexpected bill in there or an increase to your utilities, that the money is there to cover it. Maybe safety would feel like opportunities just showing up and you feeling ready to take them instead of feeling overwhelmed. Maybe safety and stability would be having a certain amount in your savings account at all times. Whatever it is for you, I just want you to take a couple moments with your jar and focus on what financial safety would feel like. And then you're going to say, I am safe to receive money in ways that feel grounded, protective, and supportive. I am safe to receive money in ways that feel grounded, protected, and supportive. All right, so we have now shifted from survival to receiving. Now, what do you do with the oil, right? What would our ancestors have done? What do you do with it now that you've created it? You don't just let it sit there. The goal is to use it in your practice. So, ways to use the oil in your jar. You can anoint your wrists, so just putting a little dab on either of your wrists or both of them before work, before you're doing content creation or before client calls. So anything to do with like your career, so you can start your day with a little bit of oil. You can drop a little bit of a touch of oil on your wallet or your debit card. You could use the oil before you go to collect the mail for your bills. If you have a big financial decision that you have to make that you're uncertain of, you can again use a little bit of the oil. You can dab on your hands, rub it, put it anywhere on your palms. Whatever feels right and safe for you is what you should do. You can use it when you're journaling or intention setting, or if you're like me and you create like a manifestation journal, you may want to anoint the pencil, your hand, the paper that you're going to write on. There are no rules, which is what I love about spirituality. There really isn't any rules. There's some guidelines, but then you take it and make it your own. So that is how people would use it. Every time you use it, you are telling your body, this is safe, we can receive, and we don't have to panic anymore. And over time, that repetition becomes your new baseline. So, this ritual here isn't about chasing money. It's about changing your relationship with money. Because money isn't just numbers. It's safety, it's choice, it's freedom, and it's energy. And if your system learned that any of those things weren't safe, you of course are going to resist them. But that can change. So, there you have it. That is it for this week's Witchy Wednesday. And I gotta tell you, I'm really excited about this. I am in a new phase of my life, and my intention for this year was to feel financially supported and to have ample opportunity to learn to receive with ease. Because that's what I'm working on. Because for me, my relationship with money, I realize that I don't ask for help. And I have a very difficult time receiving help. And that comes with money as well. Even in the work I do, I hate to be like, hey, can you pay me for my time and the services? I just hate that. I shouldn't say hate anymore because I've been working on that. It's energy exchange. It's an energy exchange. I'm rambling again. All right, folks, that is it for this week's Witchy Wednesday. And I got to tell you, I'm excited for this. I am entering a new phase of my life. I know that there is a lot of abundance coming my way, and I am working on learning to receive with ease. So this is going to become very handy for me. And so yeah, go ahead, let me know in the comments. Did you make a money jar? And no. Not a money jar. All right. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. What is it that you hope to bring in and attract with your money oil? All right, friends. Have a blessed day.